Hello guys and welcome to the 11th round of the Unlimited Racing 2D Season 4 Championship. We're here in Italy, Monza, the Temple of Speed. Before we even get into the weekend though, let's look at the standings. Charles Leclerc has a 1-point lead to Max Verstappen. Carlos Sainz is the man in form and he's only 3 points away from the lead of the championship. This is the closest he's been to any championship fight. George Russell further 13 points, he's still in this fight, definitely do not rule him out. With Esteban Ocon, Daniel Ricciardo, Pierre Gasly, Lando Norris, Valtteri Bottas and even Antonio Giovinazzi I think, all able to battle for 5th spot, the best of the rest realistically. Sergio Perez, P11 with Alex Albon, P8. Alex Albon, P12, I don't know what I was saying there. Mick Schumacher, P13, Oscar Piastri, P14, Lance Stroll, P15, 10 points ahead of Callum Ilott, who's P16, Nico Hülkenberg, P17, Kevin Magnussen, P18, Yuki Tsunoda, P19, a point behind him, Nikita Mazepin. Constructors-wise, it looks like this. Alfa Romeo now have taken control of the Constructors' Championship for the first time in like 2 seasons or something. It's been mad, it's been so long. 2 seasons and a bit. Alpine second place, never thought I'd be seeing that. Mercedes exactly 100 points behind Alpine, but obviously their fights with Red Bull this year, they're only 11 points ahead of Red Bull, so that's really tight. McLaren, it looks like I think they'll be in a league of their own in P5, with Force India and Williams on the same point, so this is a really crucial Grand Prix in the battle for 6th and 7th in the Constructors. AlphaTauri P8 with Haas P9 and Ferrari last. Let's get into the weekend. My favourite before pole, I'm going to say Carlos Sainz. He's been looking rapid of late. By the time the Alpines bounce back, it's been a really poor, last 2 races for Alpine. However, as we get to the Rettifilo, the first chicane, Max Verstappen, Daniel Ricciardo actually is leading. It's been a while since Red Bull were fighting for a Grand Prix victory actually. I think the last time they were fighting for one was in Silverstone when Daniel Ricciardo actually won. Looks like Daniel Ricciardo will be taking pole unless if he messes it up at the Parabolica. Which he doesn't really mess it up. However, Pierre Gasly is really quick. Will it be Pierre Gasly? Will it be Daniel Ricciardo? It was so close, but I think Daniel Ricciardo just about beat Pierre Gasly, yes. Daniel Ricciardo on pole, Pierre Gasly P2. George Russell P3, Charles Leclerc P4. Lando Norris P5, Max Verstappen P6. I don't know what happened to him, he had a really good first sector. Carlos Sainz P7, Antonio Giovinazzi P8, Alex Albon P9 and Sergio Perez P10. P11 Esteban Ocon with P12 Valtteri Bottas. So we have Ricciardo and Gasly 1st and 2nd. Then we have Ocon and Bottas 11th and 12th. Wow. Piastri P13 with Schumacher P14, Stroll P15, Mazepin P16, then Ilott P17, Tsunoda P18, Magnussen P19, and Hülkenberg starting last. Let's get to the Grand Prix. Gasly starting on the hards, Verstappen starting on the hards. Lights out and away we go here at Monza. It's a good start from Ricciardo and I think he will keep P1. Yes he does. Leclerc though down the inside of Curva Grande and all of a sudden he's in P1. Lando Norris into P2. George Russell also makes it an Alpine 1-2. George Russell takes control of the lead. Although Ricciardo, remember he had all that URS and he used it down the straight. Ricciardo retaking control of the lead. He's going to fight George Russell and he's going to fight George Russell really well. Through the Curva Grande they go. This reminds me of Alonso and Vettel back in 2012. That Russell wins out on that occasion. The soft tyres now beginning to fade away slightly. Gasly, who's on the hards, unsurprisingly, isn't really making up positions, although he hasn't lost as many positions as I anticipated he would. Look at him running P4 and he's able to challenge Carlos Sainz if he can get through this lap without losing any more positions. Pierre Gasly is in a really good situation for the Grand Prix. Although Carlos Sainz is looking quick, he goes slightly wide and Lando Norris now is all over him. Norris going into the Ascari chicane gets him. Up front though, Charles Leclerc at the Parabonica gets Ricciardo and dives into the pits. So, Charles Leclerc's trying the undercut. Will it work for young Charles? I guess we'll find out in about a lap. Norris gets past Pierre Gasly, although Pierre Gasly gets him back. No rain, which is really good, I guess, for the Alpines, you know, no surprises. Ricciardo's really quick though, honestly. Russell and Ricciardo are in. Where's Charles Leclerc? There's Charles Leclerc. Now he's arrived to Alex Albon, Giovinazzi, Ocon. Oh, the undercut hasn't worked though. The undercut hasn't worked. I think it's because Leclerc was on the hard tyres. The undercut hasn't worked though. Leclerc remains P3. That's really interesting. This year we've seen the undercut be so powerful. Daniel Ricciardo has had a crazy exit and has managed to get George Russell into Ascari. Verstappen goes slightly wide, down the inside of the Parabolica. Daniel Ricciardo back in, I guess you could say, provisional P1 because Pierre Gasly still has to pit. He's going a long way on those hard tyres. How long can the hards do? Don't tell me he's trying to one-stop. Ricciardo gets past Pierre Gasly, as does George Russell. Sunshine is expected to stay with us here at Monza. Beautiful Italian weather for this beautiful Italian Grand Prix today. Pierre Gasly's in. Verstappen follows. Sainz is really quick. Look at him, all over Lando Norris. Norris uses some R's. But Sainz, obviously he's the man in form at the moment. What can he do? We've seen Norris put up a really good fight previously. Can he continue battling as hard as he is? Yeah, Sainz around the outside. Can he make the move stick? No, he can't. Norris went really deep. Coming out of the Ascari chicane, however, managed to make up the gap. Managed to make up the time. Going through the Parabolica. Leclerc isn't losing any position, so I'm sure that won't really be a big worry for him. Ricciardo and Russell should be pitting now. But Ricciardo, so far, he has driven an absolutely amazing Grand Prix. Those hard tyres though, they go a long way, I can tell you that. For the first stint of the Grand Prix, they went like 3 laps longer, so the hard tyres, they are a good tyre. And Daniel Ricciardo and George Russell, they have seen, you know, the teams have seen all of the data and they've seen that the hard tyres are really good. I think they can make it to the end of the Grand Prix. However, we've seen a lot of last lap drama. And I'm sure we'll see some more last lap drama today. This is a perfect position for Daniel Ricciardo, apart from Yuki Tsunoda getting into the way. But this is a really good situation for Daniel Ricciardo. George Russell, P2. Pierre Gasly, P3. It's kind of gone under the radar the last few laps, you know. Pierre Gasly's been doing a really good job. Almost everybody except, I think, Sergio Perez are on the hards, yeah. The hard tyre is a really good race tyre this week. We saw in Assen, I think it was Assen. You know, those hards, they were horrible, even at Le Mans, I think. The hards just did not work, they did not switch on. Oh, Lando Norris gets a double overtake done. However, Gasly's back. He comes back to fight some more. Norris eventually gets the move done, although Gasly using the Rs gets P3 back. Norris down the inside, and some Rs. Gets the position, although Gasly is not going to give up there. What a battle. Giovinazzi and Schumacher are now on the softs, as Perez has now pitted for the hards. But this battle is continuing. This time with Charles Leclerc. But yeah, his tyres are gone. Gasly's tyres are real gone. Daniel Ricciardo, he's in a really good position. I think as long as he can keep his tyres in a good condition. If he does win this, ladies and gentlemen, this win would have been on merit. Not by luck, not by weather, not even by tyres. It would be on merit, you know. he would have been the faster car, the faster driver. Okay, maybe not in the fastest car, obviously, you know, Alpine and Alfa Romeo have beastly cars, but Daniel Ricciardo, he's driven a phenomenal Grand Prix. I don't see Charles Leclerc getting anywhere near. Honestly, at this current moment in time, Daniel Ricciardo looks to be taking a third Grand Prix victory of the season and a third Grand Prix victory of his career. Although, when you can't lap Sergio Perez, that's not going to help your cause for this Grand Prix victory. Perez is really making it hard for Daniel Ricciardo. This is just not what Ricciardo needs, although Perez hits the wall. Ricciardo needs to clear Perez because he's losing so much time. Look at Russell. Russell is gaining on Ricciardo, although Leclerc's gaining on Russell. This will be massive in the Drivers' Championship. If Leclerc can overtake his teammate George Russell, he does just that. One more corner to go. Can Ricciardo do it? Ricciardo's done it. Daniel Ricciardo has done it. Although the battle for second place is still happening, Ricciardo wins. However, George Russell just about beats Charles Leclerc to P2. That's massive in the fight for the Drivers' Championship. Norris just about beats Pierre Gasly to P4 and P5. This is a day to forget for Alfa Romeo, just as you thought maybe momentum was shifting slightly towards Alfa Romeo. The two really good races. Alpine once again. I mean, it wasn't really a good race for Alpine. Them not winning shows that it's not really been a good race, but they did what they needed to do. And I think that they're leading the Constructors' Championship once again, I think. Ricciardo, once again winning. This is his third race win. His first one was at South Africa. Then at Silverstone. Now at Monza. So, wow. Daniel Ricciardo really has had a phenomenal season this year. George Russell and Charles Leclerc finishing off the top 3. Lando Norris P4, Pierre Gasly P5, as I already mentioned. Carlos Sainz beating his teammate Max Verstappen, although that's just a result Alfa Romeo did not need. Giovinazzi having an alright race, you know. Ocon and Bottas making some moves. Albon just outside of the top 10, with Perez P12, Piastri P13, Mick Schumacher P14, Lance Stroll P15, Nikita Mazepin P16, Kevin Magnussen P17, Callum Ilott P18, Yuki Tsunoda P19, and Nick Hulkenberg P20. Constructors wise, it looks like this. The gap now is 9 points between Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz and Max Verstappen. But look at that, George Russell, just by beating his teammate by one position, just by taking that P2, the gap's closed between George Russell and his teammate Charles Leclerc. Now the top 4 are only separated by 10 points. It's going to be so tight. Daniel Ricciardo, he's going to be in a really close fight with Esteban Ocon, and if Norris can get a really good, result, really good performance, don't be surprised if he joins in the battle for P5, P6. Then we have Gasly, followed by Bottas, with Giovinazzi finishing off the top 10. Perez P11, Albon P12, Schumacher P13, the first, the leading driver in double digits. Piastri in 14, Stroll in 15th, Callum Ilott 16th, Hulkenberg 17th, Magnussen 18th. Point behind him is Mazepin, who's finally off last, and Tsunoda 2 points behind 2 points behind Mazepin. As I previously mentioned, Alpine retake the lead of the Constructors' Championship. Not the best weekend for them this week, but they did what had to be done, and they got enough points to retake the Constructors' lead. Alfa Romeo P2 with Mercedes P3. They're actually on the same points with Red Bull. I don't know how Red Bull are 4th because they have more wins than Mercedes, but oh well. McLaren are 5th. Force India 6th. They're 5 points now ahead of Williams. 7th AlphaTauri, 8th Haas, 9th Haas, and 10th and last Ferrari. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me for the Italian Grand Prix. Next up, we're at Japan. Can't wait. Thank you for being with me, and goodbye.